Oh, there you go.
Hey, welcome to our powwow here, Friday morning. How's everybody doing?
We got the powwow.
So, okay, today what we want to talk about is, recently I had someone reach out to me that had an adult daughter, young, I don't know exactly the age, 18, 19, 20, 21, something like that had recently attempted suicide, and the mother, who's a friend of mine, is unsure where to, kind of how to handle the situation when her daughter reaches out for help. When does the help become that you're enabling, and where is that fine line? Where do you draw that line? And so that's what we're here. We're going to talk about this morning.
But her initial thought was something that she wasn't going to help her daughter in a certain situation, right?
Yes.
It wasn't really a life or death situation.
Correct.
It was
correct.
something that.
Yeah, correct. She's like, her initial thought was, I want to help, and then like, no, she's an adult, she can figure this out, and so she's struggling with when she should help and when is she just enabling, because her daughter's, careless with her money, quit her job, and so forth.
Right.
And so it's not a life or death situation. In this case, she's stranded, out of gas and no money. And I think she probably knew that was going to happen earlier in the day,
Right.
And
right.
so the mother is struggling with, like, when does that help become enabling? And I just thought I'd throw that topic out today.
One of the thoughts that comes to my mind real quickly, and it has a lot to do with it, is, I think enabling your children, no matter what age they are, enabling them or helping them find what moves them. Finding activities or things that they can enjoy and that makes them feel good about themselves, makes them feel good about their place and their role, either in the family, in their marriage, in their relationship with somebody else. Kind of switching gears, because when I hear enable, when I hear help, I think enabling in a good way can be a positive. So I've been on this big kick the last week about really finding what moves you. And that goes for us as adults, mothers, fathers, grandparents, whatever else it is. But I think, in that scenario, what a great opportunity for her or others to find, really sit down with them or have conversations with them, whether it be young or older adults, and say, hey, let's get you into that mode of what really moves you. Is it, I'm throwing out stupid stuff. Is it sewing? Is it hiking? Is it sitting in a corner meditating? What really gets you going? And so, anyway, real quick, just wanted to kind of throw that in. I think there's a good enable, and I think there's a good help there as well.
I like that a lot. This topic, when Dave, we want to have a structure to this program. We want to add value. We're going to keep it shorter, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. But to come with something, and so this week as we were all contemplating about what we were going to do, we weren't sure what to talk about, and here Dave shows up this morning with this post in a Facebook group, and God bless you, mom and family and daughter out there, if you're watching this, because this is a situation that you hear of more and more and more. This is not uncommon. This is on the rise. This is something that a lot of people are going through and never talk about, never reach out for outside resources. I'm kind of coming from, my take on it is, I'm kind of coming from that adult child. That was me. I was that adult child with my parents, those loved ones around me, trying to figure out, what in the world do we do here? You know what I'm saying? So where there has just been an attempt with an adult child, yet we're not even, our brains are not even done fully developing until we're 25 years old, yet we're coming out of high school with the weight of the world on our shoulders. What am I supposed to do? Where do I go to college? What do you want to be when you grow up? As if what you are defines you, right? There's a lot of weight. Now mix in some mental stuff, some substance abuse, some bullying, some addiction, some all kinds of traumatic life stuff, and you got a really nice recipe there for you know, this type of a situation. Where I wanna come at it from today is, hey, this has now happened. This has happened, so now what do we do? I encourage, anyone in this situation to go and sit and hold space. Sit and be and talk. And when I say talk, I mean listen. Because when you feel like you're broken, you're no good, you suck as a human being, to the extent you've literally tried to take your own life and leave this existence, those loved ones, those parents around, I understand help and enablement and, you know, letting them learn their own lessons, but to sit and to be and to say, hey, can we grab a burger? Can we grab a drink? Can we just go on a drive for a minute and just let what comes, and just know going in that I'm going to just see, I'm going to listen, and really just look at this human being and say, you're my child, I love you, and I'm worried, I'm full of fear right now, I'm disappointed maybe, or whatever, but to start and try to develop, you know, this happened, now what? Well, let's hold space, let's find common ground, because at the end of the day, we're just human beings all trying to heal. But as a parent, child, look at them and say, I see you. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here to listen, and we can do this together, and what's happening inside? You know, what are you feeling? Are you planning on hurting yourself again? Are you planning, because it's time to talk now. This is absolute, now what?
Right. And it's time for that parent or that other person that's talking to someone in crisis to be very vulnerable. The more vulnerable you can be as a listener, and maybe once in a while interject, hey, I felt this way at a certain time in my life, not to validate them, but to tell them, hey, we all go through this, whether we're 15 or 10 or we're 55. You know, I have some apprehensions, I have some issues, so I think you bring up a great point. And being that person that reaches out, that parent that reaches out, whatever it is, being vulnerable enough to say, hey, I don't know what you're going, I maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know, but hey, this is how I felt when I was your age, you know. And the other thing too, and I'm being a little bit older, you know, what I've found is that with your own children or your own children's friends, or even with your own friends your age, in that, you don't have to light the world on fire when you're 18 or 25 or whatever. The pressures that we put on ourselves are our own pressures. What if we're good people, you know, things will come, and we work hard, and you know, what do you want? That the perfect thing. What do you want to be when you grow up? That's a lot of pressure on people. And if you're not the president of a company by the time you're 25, that's okay. If you're not doing the thing, it's okay. Life is an experience, and especially in this world, don't put so much pressure on yourself that you can't feel like you're a success. You know, you get up every morning, you're a success. You know, I mean that's the way we want people to think. Yeah. But your point to reaching out and listening, really listening, whether it be parents or somebody else, really listening to them and helping them understand themselves. Don't try and solve the problem unless they ask you, but just listening can really, you know, listening to our children can really be important. Not that we're not assuming that out.
Right. No, not at all.
So.
Yeah, that's tough. Internally, like I have so much empathy, so it's like when my daughter was going through, you know, her addiction, I just wanted to help, and you know, she was not an adult yet, so we were able to put her in treatment, and she didn't have any say in the matter. Now, when your child's an adult, you don't have that option, and I'm not even saying she has any kind of addiction problem or anything like that. I'm just using that example, but yeah, you know, we love our kids and we want to help them, and like that's a tough. You know, when does it become where you're being taken advantage of as a parent as opposed to really helping?
Sure.
That's sure.
the struggle there.
And something that's coming up for me is there's a vast difference between empathy and sympathy. Like some people really mistake the two and think someone comes to you and is sharing something extremely traumatic or hurtful or sitting in that space. I'm so sorry. Oh, you're gonna be fine. Oh, I see. That is empathy can simply be looking at someone saying, I have no words. I literally, you know what I'm saying? Like to hold that space, to hold space for someone, you know, sympathize and empathize, very, very different things. You know, the awesome author Brene Brown has some great points on this. But to have true empathy is not to have experienced or gone through exactly what they've gone through, an overdose, an addiction, a stint in rehab, or whatever. It's just to simply sit there and look at them and say, you know, I see you, and we got this together. You know, like we said, I don't know what you're going through, but we're together in this. You know, there's an acceptance, not sympathy, because sympathy isn't empowering.
No.
You know.
No. Well, and that, you know, to kind of bring it all together, I think that's the why. That's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we want everybody else. The why is really reaching out and listening, or being available, being there, and like you said, being in the room, being present, being in that chair to be ready to listen. And it doesn't mean you have to be a perfect person to listen. You know, and we love clinicians, we love, you know, people that can do therapy, but I'll tell you right now, in my lifetime, the people that have been affected by friends, their mothers and fathers, grandparents, whatever, meaning going to them and saying, or them reaching out and saying, hey, can I help you, or can I just listen to you? Those are the most effective relationships to help curb suicide that I know of. Again, clinicians, if there's imbalance in the brain, then those people can be very helpful. But in most cases, why are we doing this? It's because we want people to reach out. We want people to message Dave. We want people to message us and everybody, and let's talk about it. Let's you know, we're gonna have guests. We're gonna have other people coming on. We're gonna do some crazy things from crazy locations. Crazy meaning, you know, we're going to talk to regular people. We're regular folks. There's nothing, you know.
And we've all been through various struggles as kids.
And we know you have. We know you have.
And so, kind of what you were just touching on right there is, you know, get people talk about it because, and she mentioned that in the post that, you know, we want to be strong, and then, but truthfully, we might be hurting inside. But we don't want to show that vulnerability, so we're very cautious about who we reach out to. And so that's why we're doing this, is to get people to talk about it and reach out to whether it's one of their friends that can help them, you know, a family member, a parent, or, you know, anybody like us that we can, you know, help share and, you know.
Let's make Facebook real book. You know what I mean? Let's make it real. You know, again, we've talked about it. It's not everything's everybody's highlight reel. No. We're here. A lot of people are there. A lot of people in my network, your networks. If you've got an issue, you know, if you don't want to do it publicly, that's okay. Do it privately, and let's talk about it.
Sure. Want to acknowledge the empty seat right here. Every time we do this, anytime we're in a studio, because we talked about some of our location plans that we have, and you know, once the weather warms up and whatnot. But today, this empty seat represents that young female warrior, a friend who has just experienced this and taken this attempt on her life, you know, or that next teen we lose, or that adult that's struggling, or that loved one in our life that we fight for in our heart, and that's part of our why. That's why we do what we do. The silent heroes, the fallen angels. So, I appreciate this, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you. And what we want to do is we want to make sure, you know, this topic came about because someone reached out to us. And so, that's what we encourage. Any questions?
We'd love that.
If you know, you have a topic that you want us to touch on, reach out to one of us. You know, whether it's on a personal message or even if you just put a question one of the bottom of the video.
Exactly. All right.
Okay.
Thank Levi for his, for location.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh,
Levi.
You know what, guys? This is just a real gift.
Everybody have a good day.
Have a good weekend.
As best you can.
Peace and love.
Yep. Peace and love. Great weekend, everybody.